Hey guys, how's it going? It's Shay and welcome to Utmost Phonology. This is the first video of the new year and I've got a somewhat interesting fan to show you guys today. This is a mid-90s Vornado Model 180 compact air circulator in quotes. This is one of those last models that were made in America, and it is really quite odd to see that this one is here in the UK. I got this for £10 plus £5 postage, which was not bad at all really. And being that it is an American model, of course I had to bring out my voltage converter. But why don't we have a look at this thing up close and everything, and even compare it to my newer one that we've already looked at before, in terms, at least in terms of design. We might even check out the performance difference between the two, because it is quite interesting. But yeah, let's get on with it. Okay, so starting off with the front of the fan, you can see it's got that typical Vornado V-motion grill, whatever they call it. It's got the old badge, which has a kind of gold lettering on it, and it's got the cool red symbol on it. Some of the new models still have that badge, but I don't think they have stripes anymore. You'll see that it's not very dense, which is quite surprising considering this is a product from the 90s, and by that time things have become a bit more safer. But yeah, it looks much less dense than the modern Vornado grills like that. So that's quite strange. And you also notice that it's got this kind of, it's like a big funnel around here, and there's nothing else hiding this area or anything, unlike what the modern, what this modern model has. It's got the same funnel inside, but it's got this design here just to make it look a bit different and not so odd, I guess. Let's turn it to its side. Looking at the side of the fan, you can see again it's got really nice big openings here to let all that air through unrestricted, which is good. There are some indentations here of where in the plastic, which is kind of odd, but it is what it is. This base design was used from this model to another one in the early 2000s, which is different from this slightly, to even there's a modern one, I think, that is slightly different. It just has a different grill, a bit more dense, but I think the rest of this is identical to that. Maybe the motor might be different as well, I don't know. Let me show you the other side as well, because that's where the interesting bit is. On this side we have the speed control, which, unlike some of these, it's a variable speed model, which is really quite awesome. I'm not sure how it does this. It doesn't really have a whine or a hum or anything when you turn the speed down, so that would be interesting, maybe just to open it up and see what it is inside. There are other models of this Model 180, like just literally called the Model 180, that have just the 3-speed control, and that's why if I bring the whole thing closer, oh dear, it's a bit tangled down there, but you can hopefully kind of see, turn on the flash, you can see it's got different indentations for the different models. Now, off is there, and then there's first speed, and then there's a second speed, and there's nothing over there, but there's also a plus and minus. And I recently watched a video of Jordan Yu, and he had one of these, which was a later model, I think, from this, but it had the 3-speed control compared to this, and they just never bothered to remove the plus and minus, which is interesting for sure. Anyways, let's look at the rear. Here is the rear of the fan. It's still got that same inlet air accelerator, whatever nonsense they call it, but it's basically a cone to kind of funnel the air a bit more, just like the other model. You might notice that this one is a bit more restricted with these extra bits there. But this one doesn't have that at all. It's just completely open. There's nothing back here, and the whole head does tilt up and down. Not sure if it goes full 180. Let's figure that out quickly. Oh, it does. Yeah, it does. That's pretty sick. Doesn't go all the way down though. But yeah, pretty nice tilt mechanism in that for sure. And that's about it. One more thing to mention before I forget is the grill is much easier to take off than modern variants of this. They have 2 screws on the other side or something, and then you can just clip them off and take it off and wash it. This one has that system where you have to unscrew 2 of the screws and then undo these with a screwdriver, which is not as easy to do, of course. And then you can take it off and blah blah blah, wash it off just with water. But yeah, let me show you the base and then we will give it a run. Here is the base of the fan, and you can see it was made in Wichita, Kansas, USA. It's got a date code of 96 on it, so that's, yeah, 1996. 120 volts, 1.23 amps, which is a lot of power. That's more than 100 watts. And yeah, it is slightly different from the base on the newer fan, which if I show you here, it's completely hollow and doesn't say the same info, of course. It does say that it was made in January of 2018. So yeah. And also says the importer there, and you can kind of see me, but I don't like how this is entirely hollow, unlike the older fan. Shows how they cheapened out a bit, and also you might hear how creaky the plastic is on that compared to the old fan. And only problem with this fan, literally the only problem, is that it's missing 2 of these rubber feet. That's not the end of the world, is it? Anyways, let's give it a run now. Okay, so you saw it running there, and my goodness, this is the strongest little fan that I have, for sure, of this size. It whoops the Honeywell turbo fan that I have, the HT900, and it gets in a pretty impressive number, 964 feet per minute, and that's at its lowest speed. And to be fair, the speed control does not work properly on this fan due to the electrical supply we have in the UK. It is 50 Hertz rather than 60 Hertz, and it doesn't really take nicely to that. Otherwise, you'll find videos of this fan running really quite quietly. This is like a medium speed right now, and I can feel this if I go out of my room from around 20 feet away. I can feel it just as strong, almost just as strong as feeling it up close. But yeah, 1023 feet per minute if I turn it up a bit more. Let's see if I can do it without blocking the airflow too much. 1318 feet per minute. and on high it gets 1,535 feet per minute, which is a really crazy number. This thing is stronger than this thing. This thing gets around 1,200 feet per minute roughly, and it does that with roughly the same amount of noise, which I find to be hilarious. They call this a compact fan, but this is plenty for its size. Really impressive little fan. But anyways, let me show you the wattage now, and then we will end the video. Okay, so here's just the transformer running without the fan. So it uses roughly 12 watts just on it by itself. So let's turn on the fan on low speed, on the lower speed first, and we'll see what it gets. Okay, so it shows 51 watts right now, and that's my mental maths is not the greatest. I think that's roughly 39 watts, 38 watts of power right now. It's not too bad. Let's turn it up a bit. Goes up to 65, so that's 48-ish watts, I think. Let's go to high, the higher speed. And that's using 103 watts, which I think is around roughly 89 watts or somewhere around there. Almost 90 watts, which is quite a lot for a little fan, I must say. But again, for the amount of power, I mean the amount of air this thing moves and the noise it makes and whatever, I think it's completely fine. Well, I think it's acceptable at least. My big Vornado here also uses roughly the same. In fact, I'll plug that in just to show you. So there we have it, guys. I hope you enjoyed looking at this fan with me. It is a really surprising little fan. It's the strongest fan of its size that I have in my collection, and especially of this kind of turbo fan design with the deep pitch blades and, you know, the powerful motor. I have never owned or experienced a fan of this size that is this strong. It is insane. But yeah, feel free to let me know what you guys think of it. I'm really quite happy with it, and yeah, just really happy with it. That's all I can say about it, really. Very well made product for sure. But feel free to let me know what you guys think of it, and as usual, I'll say the regular old thing. Nobody's here to force you to like, subscribe, whatever. We don't do that on this channel. And yeah, hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.